Welcome to my first ever long form YouTube video. I told myself that I'm not waiting any longer. You guys, I've been wanting to create a YouTube channel for 6 years. Let's just say I wanted to create long form content for like 6 years. I bought a camera, I did the whole nine. I've done so much recording and I haven't ever posted anything. Now, on the other hand, short form content, I've done a lot of, and I have built a following on TikTok and I've built a following on Instagram. Instagram is more of like my local following, which has brought me so many opportunities because I've lived in about 4 different states. I am 31 years old and I've never had like a true career of corporate career, I should say. I've just been a freelancer, and I actually worked for Party City as my first ever seasonal job in high school, and then I worked for the candy factory. It was called Fuzzy Wig's Candy Factory. It was a candy store in my area, and then that was really fun. And then when I was in college, I worked for Starbucks, which I hated. I loved it, but I hated it. I loved learning coffee, but I just hated the repetitive structure of it. I'm a person that loves change and going with my flow. And obviously, I have routines, but I'm flexible. And so I have always found ways to make money and build businesses through my passions. And I've always been the type to be like, I refuse to work for a job or work for a company and hate my life every single day just for a paycheck. I don't want to be the person that's working a 9 to 5 and just yearning for the weekend and that's just not a life I want to live. So I've always believed that there are opportunities out there if you put yourself out there. And I have moved to several different states and haven't really been able to, create my one business, that one thing, but everything has led me to where I am today. So, little backstory there. My husband played for the NFL, so we lived outside of Chicago, and then now we live in Buffalo, New York. He's actually living in Colorado right now because he's done playing, and I am working on a dream project that I still need to finish, and it's just taking me a little bit longer, but it's such a cool story. My transformation in these last couple years has been unbelievable, like on a personal transformation, because when he was done playing, he then needed to find his new identity. And on this channel, we will absolutely be talking about identity because I think identity is it is such a cool topic. It is such a deep topic. It's raw. And sorry if you hear the little tapping, that would be my dogs. I have 3 dogs. But identity can create traps for us and cage us. And that is something I have deeply explored. So when he moved to Colorado to start his new dream career, I have stayed here and continued to renovate the house that I'm standing in right now. So when I moved into this house, it did not look like this. It was definitely not updated. I still have the orange countertops, so I need to change the countertops, but I have touched almost every area of this house, which has been so much fun. And it's been a lot of self-discovery at the same time. When we moved to Buffalo, I started a business, unintentionally. I didn't expect to, but an opportunity arose, and look at the sun coming out. It's just like God's like, hey, good job, you're freaking doing it. And mind you, I am a perfectionist, and I told myself I'm going to record this one video and I'm going to post it, and there's not going to be any edits, and that's where we're going. So this is raw, real, right, straight from whatever is kind of coming out of my mouth. I think that I need to push myself to just do this, right? So anyway, I have been working on this house, but since he left, this whole period of my life, which will be 2 years in May that we've been doing long distance, not our first rodeo, I have explored so much of myself because it's the first time I've ever lived by myself. Every time we've ever lived long distance, I've always been with his family or with my family when he moved for his dream, which was playing football. And now it's my turn to, finish this dream of mine and then move on from it. I'm turning this house into an Airbnb. I'm really, really excited to do that. It was actually during the time that I was living here by myself, a friend put the idea into my head. I just never thought it would be like possible to do a short-term rental. I always thought, I'll just do a long-term rental in this house once we renovate. But I want to come back and visit. This house has a pool. The backyard is just so serene. I love it back there. And I can't wait to show you guys around because there has been a lot of work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And I want to be able to come back and revisit it. And I feel like my house will be taken care of a lot more if it's a short-term rental opposed to somebody living here long-term. Because, you never know how people are going to take care of your house. And that is something that kind of scared me. Also, my mom's a real estate agent and she has always had horrible experiences with clients, like her clients have had horrible experiences with long-term rentals because, one, the renter has more rights than the owner, which is insane, right? And two, like just the destruction that happens in these houses, and you just don't know because people will be living there for a year or two or whatever, and they don't care for it like they care for their own things. And some people don't even care for their own things like that, right? So anyway, I am so excited to get on here and just chat. I watched a video probably like a month ago, and it was this guy, and he talks a lot about philosophy and wisdom. And that part of me, I love talking about philosophy and wisdom. So there's gonna be a lot about that on this channel. But he basically was like, I just turn the camera, I go for my hike and I turn the camera on, and whatever comes through is what comes through. And that's how I've always lived, right? So the planning part, I love a list, I love all that, but does it ever really go to plan? No, it doesn't. And honestly, that's okay with me because I love to go with the flow. I love a plan. I love a loose structure. I'm a Capricorn, so there is that part, but I also have a Sagittarius moon. My husband's a Sagittarius, so it's almost like adventurous and flow, and then I also have a Cancer rising, which if you're not into astrology, that's okay, but I'll hopefully be able to convince you that it's such a cool tool. It's not something you worship, but it's like our blueprint. And when I have discovered what I've discovered and how deep it goes, because it's not like, oh, I'm a Capricorn and that's my horoscope. Like that's not even scratching the surface of what astrology is. But for me, my full blueprint, when I've looked into it, I'm like, wow, I am so aligned. And this last year, I've come even deeper into alignment slash like I'm reshaping my identity and who I am, because a lot of who I was and who, I've grown with my husband was for my husband, right? So I supported him in his dream. So everywhere we moved, I kind of like found what kept me busy. Whatever I could find kept me busy, but we were always in limbo. Like we were never sure. There's no like solid place that we were in where I could be like, all right, I'm building a clientele, I'm building this business. Now when we moved to Buffalo, I was like, I don't care anymore. Like I'm not living in limbo. We are buying a house. I'm renovating that house because that was always my dream. I always wanted to renovate our first house myself. So I've, again, redone a lot. What you see behind me is not what it was before. Also, this piece of art right here, I thrifted that for $40. Insane. So if you're into thrifting, me too. You and I are going to get along great. But yeah, so where was I? I don't know, just growing and developing who I am, and a lot of me was lost in time of supporting my husband, which I don't regret anything that we have gone through, and I don't regret supporting him and following him for his dream and supporting us in a way that like I did everything where he wasn't doing things, like, you know what I mean? And he was doing things where I wasn't doing things. So it was just a really great collaboration and partnership there. So I was a homemaker, and like, I never thought I was going to be a homemaker. You know, I never thought I wouldn't be a breadwinner, because I am an entrepreneur. I'm a go-getter. I'm very independent. Like, I want to make my own money. I don't need anybody's help. And like, that mentality has so much changed for me in these last couple years, because like, everybody needs help. Everybody needs to ask for help. We should be asking our neighbors for help, because that is help. Like, we are serving them by asking for help, because they get to feel good by helping. You know what I mean? And then we get to ask God or our angels for help, because they're waiting for us to ask for help, right? Ask and it is given. Ask and you shall receive. How cool is that? Asking for help has always been so hard for me. And second, perfectionism. Now, back to astrology really quick. If you're into it, your Chiron is your wound, right? So my Chiron, when I found out what that kind of entailed and where that sat in my chart, perfectionism and overthinking. That's my core wound. And is it spot on? Is it ever spot? It is so spot on. I can't even explain it. And that's why I haven't started this long form video. Hopefully when I watch this, I post it. I'm posting it. There's no doubt about it. It doesn't matter how I look. I've struggled with acne for years, and that's what's also held me back from putting my face online, especially these long form videos. And like, I don't know. But as I've come into more spirituality and more within and holding my power and understanding my power, I've been able to change my reality. And that's just like a whole nother animal. So this is kind of cool. I had no plan for this video, but I'm still telling you all these little things that I'm introducing to you, and things about me that this channel will be about, because this channel is really just, I really just want to document my thoughts and my life and my wisdom. And I hope that my words, that just the things that I convey to you, I hope that there's at least one person it helps, right? And a lot of what we consume online, it's kind of like a mirror, right? So if we are just mindlessly scrolling, maybe a little different. But if we're like online and, you know, really curating what we've looked at, and our algorithm understands us in that way, there's things that come across our path. Nothing is a coincidence. It comes across our path and it mirrors us in a way where like, oh my God, like it becomes clear to you. Or like, confirmation. Holy shit, that's literally the sentence I needed to transform or to get me to that next step, because I just needed to hear it outside of my head, right? And so yeah, this entire video, which I'm going to wrap up right now, is, oh my God, I think I just saw like an owl. Like, I don't even know. That was a giant bird that just flew. Oh my God, it just flew over my house. I just saw the shadow. That's a sign. That's not a coincidence. That is a sign. That's just, you know, there's a messenger right there. And what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to go look up what an owl signifies spiritually. Its spiritual meaning. That is what I'm going to go and look at, because that was really cool. And that, you guys, is called the act of noticing. And I hope that you maybe look into that, because when we start noticing the things around us, whether it be any type of a feather laying on the ground, or a number, or just anything that you see, you look up and a cloud represents something, and that is a message. It's all a message. They're all signs. This is your life, your simulation, if you will, and what you notice can mean a lot. You know what I mean? So more on that on a different day, but I just want to thank you for being here. If you've watched this long, thanks for sharing this time with me. And I hope that you come back for more. I hope that I post this. No, I will. I'm going to. I refuse to stay small. I refuse perfectionism, because we are all perfectly imperfect, right? And that's why I didn't even do my hair. I just like threw it up in a ponytail. I did my makeup, so we like feel good, right? But like, we don't gotta be perfect. We never have to be perfect. That's the beauty of life. We gotta live, be present, love yourself, love your neighbor. And yeah, that's all I really have to say today, I think. I love you guys, and I am happy to be on here and I'm excited for what this journey is to be. Come. I feel emotional, feel like I'm going to cry. Also, it's March 1st and it's a new day. It's a new month. How exciting. Blood moon in Pisces, I think, is on March 3rd, which is crazy. 3-3 at 3:33 a.m. I'm a huge numbers girl. I love numerology. I see number signs all day, every day. And every time I see like a sequence of numbers that stands out to me, I notice what I'm thinking about or what I'm doing and how that reflects to me. So I guess I'll leave you with that. You guys, thank you so much. I love you. I'm so excited. And welcome to my corner of the internet.